a good friend of ours, Willie Gilder, was going to be talking tonight, but he's in hospital getting heart surgery, which has been a long time coming. So I'm kind of glad he's in there to be in some respect, because he's been needing it for a while. And he's obviously on the way to recovery now, which is a better thing indeed. So as his replacement, I'm not quite as eloquent as Willie, I'm afraid, but I will speak the best I can, and hopefully you'll enjoy what I have to say. Now, when someone is diagnosed with dementia, that person doesn't automatically or suddenly change overnight into the perceived image of PVC armchairs and listening to Vera Lynn songs. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I would have been horrified if I experienced anything like that after being diagnosed with young onset Alzheimer's disease at the age of 55. Vera Lynn? Who's Vera Lynn? Give me the Buzzcocks, the Stranglers, the Clash, Iggy Pop. Oh, and don't forget Depeche Mode, just to name a few. Truth be told, in real life, it is the world that changes overnight and turns its back on you after a diagnosis of dementia. Because of the shame and stigma attached to dementia and the way it has been portrayed for many, many years, academics, professionals, and people in general appear to be under the impression that overnight you change from a fully functioning and contributing member of society into someone who is incapable of making a decision for themselves and requires round-the-clock supervision 24/7. Truth be told, this may well happen to me as my disease progresses at its end stage. However, before this happens, there's a beginning and a middle, or what I like to refer to as a middle stage and a moderate stage. Sorry, a mild stage and a moderate stage. During these initial stages, and although I do have vision awareness problems, my memory is not as great as what it used to be. It takes me more time to get out of bed in the morning and to get dressed. I am still able to function at a high enough level to carry out many day-to-day tasks given to me. Being diagnosed with dementia is already a series of losses. Don't make it worse by forcing me to listen to old World War II songs whilst playing bingo or asking me to recognize famous faces. Of course I recognize famous faces. They are, after all, famous. For far too long, people with dementia have been discreetly pushed to the side. People speak on our behalf and people make decisions on our behalf. But the simple fact of the matter is that the only person who truly knows what it's like to live with dementia is somebody who has dementia. And so when people in general, professionals and organizations, realize that dementia does not define the person and that the person can still contribute to society and lead a fulfilling life, then that will be an extremely bright light at the end of what has been a long, dark tunnel. During mild and moderate stage dementia, a person still has a lot to say and still has a lot to give and offer. Come talk to the experts. Ask us questions. Involve us at an early stage in research. Allow us to have a voice. Let us get involved in your dementia projects from the foundations up. Not only will you learn something, you may even just get things right first time round. In doing so, you'll also give that person living with dementia a reason to get out of bed in the morning. You'll give that person back those feelings of self-worth, dignity, and pride. And you'll allow that person to make a difference and contribute once again to society, leading to a much more fulfilling life, which will enable that person to flourish and live really well with dementia. Now, to finish up, I'd just like to give you a little insight into what it's like for me to live a month in the life of, basically, live a month in the life of a demented poet, as I like to call myself. Over the past few weeks, I have attended various face-to-face dementia strategy workshops all over Fife to gather thoughts and experiences from members of the public with regard to dementia care in Fife in order to reshape Fife Council's dementia strategy for the next 3 years. I was privileged to be a member of the Life Changes Trust Local Legacy Funding Panel to assess a number of applications from organisations all over Scotland looking to create dementia-friendly projects in their local areas. I attend weekly face-to-face sessions with our second A Good Life with Dementia course. This is a course written by people with dementia, and the course is for people also living with dementia who have been recently diagnosed. The aim of the course is to enable a person recently diagnosed with dementia to realise that they are not alone in their dementia journey. And through their lived experience and peer support, there are ways and means to overcome adversity and to live well with dementia. I've had the privilege of attending various Age Scotland subgroups with regards to befriending and peer support, human rights and technology, all whose aims is to provide education and advice from people with lived experience of dementia in the aforementioned subjects. I had the honour and pleasure of hosting a workshop with regard to peer support for Age Scotland's dementia-friendly communities online learning event. I attended month-to-month face-to-face gatherings in our peer support group stand, where I spent some great time with very special friends, whilst whiling away the hours, drinking tea, eating cake, and putting the world to right. I am a member of a small research group who met with a young PhD student from Edinburgh University. We meet on a monthly basis to carry out research with regard to volunteering and dementia. I had the honour and pleasure of providing a dementia awareness training session to a class full of students from St Andrews University with regard to living with dementia as part of their studies. I had the honour and privilege of attending a fledgling peer support group of people living with dementia and their wives, husbands, partners and carers in a neighbouring town. This group sprung up as a consequence of our previous Good Life with Dementia course. All the students on that course decided that they enjoyed each other's company so much, they decided to start up their own peer support group, and it's been amazing. I've been involved in the research session in Meaningful Music, which is a research project being carried out by Edinburgh University. I took part on an interview panel for people with lived experience of dementia, where we interviewed applicants for proposed full-time posts with Age Scotland. Out with these monthly excursions, one of my proudest moments, however, being part of a recent conference in Dundee. The conference was organised by people living with dementia. All the guest speakers were people living with dementia. And all the audience members, apart from a handful, were people living with dementia. A totally inspiring couple of days. There was tears, there was laughter, but it was such an amazing experience. I have also been involved in, what can I say here really, in the release of an EP by a group of men who we call ourselves the Demented Poets. We are a small group of demented men who had been asked to write poems with regard to our deepest feelings. These poems were then turned into songs, and the tunes for the songs were based on the kind of music that we liked in our youth, which was amazing. So mine was like Depeche Mode style. One of the boys was Beatles style. Another one was like really old, like sort of like Gaelic sort of Cayley sort of style music, like, and the songs came up really well. So that's just a few things that I've been doing over the last few months. Just to let you know that we don't sit in armchairs listening to violin and keep us busy. We'll be very happy to keep busy. The longer we keep busy, the longer we'll be able to stay in our homes and live well and have very meaningful lives. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.